Hi guys, I want us to look at the integral of arcsin of x with respect to x, right? So for this one, the same procedure as that of arctan. So yeah, the same procedure as that of arctan and lim. We're going to put a 1 there, right? So this is still the same thing. It's still 1 times arcsin of x dx, which is just arcsin of x dx. So we're going to let our u equals arcsin. So let u equals arcsin of x, meaning du over dx is going to be equal to 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. This is from differentiation of inverse trig functions, right? So we're going to get that. So now, what's remaining becomes our dv dx automatically. So that's the 1. It's going to be our dv dx, meaning our v is going to be the integral of dv dx, which is x, right? So we're going to have those 4 terms. Our formula for integration by parts says the integral of u dv over dx is equal to uv minus the integral of v du over dx. So here we also have to put a dx and a dx there, right? So it should look something like that. So now we are going to then plug in these into our formula, right? So we're going to have what on the question side we're going to have u dv dx, which is just arcsin of x. dv dx is what? It's just 1, right? So we don't need to write that. Then we can write our dx equals uv. It's going to be that multiplied by that, which is x arcsin of x, right? Minus the integral of v, which is that one, du dx, which is that one. So if we multiply that with that, we get x over root of 1 minus x squared dx. In this case now, you see it's slightly different, right? It's much more difficult for us to then use the recognition aspect of integration there. The one that I used for arctan, right? Because you have a square root there at the denominator. So it's much more difficult. But u substitution might be clearer. So the recognition aspect of integration is actually u substitution in disguise. So you are going to apply u substitution as you know it there. So you're going to say let u, you do this on the side, let u equals, you're going to let your u be what's inside the square root sign, such that when you get your du dx, because if you let this be your u, you're going to get du over dx equals minus 2x. From here you can then say your du is equal to minus 2x dx. Then you can divide both sides by this, meaning you are getting that, right? So minus du over 2 is equal to x dx, of which you have an x dx there. So you are replacing that with minus du over 2. And then the 1 minus x squared that you have in there, you are replacing it with u, because we said it's u, right? So you are going to have something like the integral. So let me just finish with this part. So it's going to be, we said where we have x dx, we are putting minus 1 over 2. That's basically our 1 over 2 that comes with du, right? So we have minus 1 over 2. Then we put a du. This here is minus du over 2. Then we no longer need to write the x dx. We can then write 1 over. The square root means also to the power half, right? So we can just put it as to the power half. Then inside there we can put u, because we said u is equal to 1 minus x squared. That's what's being raised to the power half. This here will give you, if you take this to the numerator, you get u to the power minus 1 over 2. the integral of that, and you have a half here, remember, and you have a du. This here will give you, you add 1 to the power, divide by the result, which is 1 over 2, because this is the same as 1 minus half. It's minus half plus 1, it's the same as 1 minus half. So you're going to get that over half, right, which is the resulting power. There you're going to have a half there, so it's going to be minus 1 over 2, right? This minus 1 over 2 here, it also then cancels with that half if you look at it. So actually, we only need to write the negative sign because it's the half and the half that are cancelling. This negative is not being cancelled by anything. So that's just going to give us u to the power half, right? So u to the power half is just our, so basically we are saying where we have u, we are putting back x, it's 1 minus x squared, isn't it? 1 minus x squared, and then to the power 1 over 2, so it's that. So that's what we are going to put there. So now I can write my integral. I can write it as the integral of arcsin of x dx. Alright? That's going to be equal to what? That's going to be equal to x arc sine of x minus, now the result that we got here, the result that we got inside there is what? It's minus 1 over 2. It's minus 1 minus x squared to the power 1 over 2. We already have this negative sign. So this negative sign and which other negative sign and that negative sign, right? This negative sign belongs to the formula. This negative sign belongs to this result, right? So it's for this integral. So it belongs to this result. It's not for the formula. So if we multiply that negative and that negative, we end up getting a positive sign. And then we can write our 1 minus x squared to the power half, which we can write as 1 minus x squared under the square root sign. Then we say plus our constant of integration c, because we do not have limits of integration. So that's our final answer.